All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be looking at some pretty nice looking devices. These are considered mid-tier, but I don't really pay much attention to that. I look at the actual performance of the devices and try to see if if it's going to be good for a consumer. And we're going to compare these spec-wise, and I'll look at the cameras and performance and everything like that. So in March, this Samsung was announced and it became available at the end of March. And we're in May right now, recording this. And then in April, at the end of April, this became available and released the same day. So the Nord N20 right now is currently only available on T-Mobile USA. So if you're willing to go ahead and pay the $280 for it, you can have it unlocked and use it on any carrier you want. But unlike the A53 is unlocked, which is the one I have here, I got from Best Buy. And it costs $450, and then also it's on carriers for a discounted price if you activate on a carrier and things like that. So even right now, I think you can get this for $299, I believe. You check the current pricing with the links down below if you activate through Best Buy. I'm not sure, but things change. But ultimately, the A53 is $450, and this device tops out at $282. So to me, this is a pretty decent comparison because they are pretty much very similar in size. Ultimately, they are exactly the same size, but the Nord being a little bit thinner. So you have a nano SIM over here, you have nano SIM over here, but you have an SD card slot on the A53. Now this is a 6.43 inch display, and this is a 6.5. So not much difference here. Obviously, you get a higher pixel count over here at 409 and 405 on the Samsung, but you can't really tell the difference. They're both really good displays. They both have always-on display. Now, this is the Exynos 1280, which is a 5 nanometer chip running Android 12 and Samsung's latest One UI 4.1. And this is running Oxygen 11, and it has a Snapdragon 6 nanometer chip, the 695. So they're very close in processing power, I would say. But there's definitely a difference in performance, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But again, this has an SD card slot, and this has an SD card slot as well. 6 gigs of RAMs over here, and 6 gig of RAM over here. Now, virtual RAM is offered on the Samsung, but I can't actually. I'm going in here because I honestly don't recall if virtual RAM is offered on RAM Boost. Okay, I think this is down here. Yeah, so RAM Boost, okay, that's the set, but I wanted to see if it had the virtual RAM. I really honestly don't remember, but I don't think that really plays too big of a difference apart in the way these perform. But this does have the RAM Boost, so I basically have this 6 gigs virtual and then 6 gigs on the phone, and this has RAM Boost with 6 gigs of RAM. So when it comes to the cameras, they both have a 64 megapixel f1.8 wide, but as you'll see here in the difference in the quality, you'll notice that. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the cameras first and just show you that. But they both have a 64 megapixel on the back. Unfortunately, this has a 2 megapixel macro and a 2 megapixel depth. So no ultra wide lens on here on the Nord, but in fact this does have an ultra wide lens, and it is a 12 megapixel, and then it also has a 5 megapixel macro, 5 megapixel depth sensor. So 4 cameras on the back of this device and 3 on this one. Not much difference in quality, and you'll see that. But this does record in 4K 30 at its peak, and this records at 4K or 1080p 30 at its peak. Only 1080p on the front and rear for the Nord, and then 4K on the front and rear 30 for the Samsung. Now, this has stereo speakers, and this has a single loudspeaker. And I think I'll go ahead and show you that now.
Only pay for the data you use, or go unlimited. Either way, you always get...
All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man, Jay. So the Samsung Galaxy A53 is a part of Samsung's A line, which basically tries to get customers a lot of bang for their buck and keep the price. And so also you can see kind of the screen quality here. Let me turn the brightness off. And I'm running this over T-Mobile's LTE, so it's probably not playing at the full resolution. Yeah, it's playing at 480. So I'll at least try to put it to high res. And while that loads, I'm going to load that same video over here. Guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So the Samsung Galaxy A53 is a part of Samsung's A line, which basically tries to get customers a lot of bang for their buck and keep the price what they consider to be low, or worth it to the customer. So 5 likes, 3 dislikes so far as I'm rolling up on 48 hours or so. So the first thing I want to talk about is the display. Now this display is actually 120 hertz, and some people might not know this, but it's just do all of this. Just want to get the brightness turned up. Okay, so as you look at these, you can kind of see they're not playing at the same spot, but you can see exactly how they look as far as the screen quality on them. Now the Samsung obviously having the stereo speaker setup, you're going to get a little bit more sound out of it, but ultimately, you know, I mean, just looking at this, I actually like, and this is a Super AMOLED display, but I think I kind of like the way the OnePlus is producing the colors on here. The Samsung, in this particular setting, it just doesn't look as appealing to my eyes. It's a little bit more deeper than I would like, and there's a lot more detail in the desk with the OnePlus from looking at it with the naked eye. Over video, you probably can't tell too much, but I personally really like the way the OnePlus is producing this footage. And I think that's something to be desired when you're watching content. Screen brightness, screen quality. I kind of favor the OnePlus actually with this, and when watching video content in that particular setting right there. I'm not saying the OnePlus is the better display overall in every situation, but in this particular situation, the OnePlus definitely looked like it handled this area of the desk better, and there's a little bit more detail. And this is an AMOLED display, and this is a Super AMOLED display. So just bear that in mind. But the stereo speakers on here are obviously a little bit louder than the OnePlus. You can definitely cancel out the OnePlus's speaker fairly easy. So, you know, just take note of that. Now, they both have a fingerprint reader on them, and they both have facial recognition. So I'm going to try to hold them back and get down behind this camera so you can see me hit this at the same time and do the unlock on it and see which one actually unlocks the fastest, or, you know, if it has issues. But they both work, I'll tell you that. But sometimes the Samsung is a hit or miss. So let's see how this works. So you can see the OnePlus is drastically faster. I'm going to do it again. And you see how the Samsung says it's no match. Yeah, I don't know why it does that sometimes. But you saw in the first, at least you got a glimpse of it when I first did it. It worked on both. There we go. So you can see the OnePlus is a lot faster when using Face Unlock. I'm looking straight in between each phone, so if you're wondering. But it should pick it up. It shouldn't be a huge deal to unlock with Face. Now let's try fingerprint readers. So that gives you some sense of the fingerprint readers and the face unlock. Just because the OnePlus is doing it faster doesn't mean I'm saying it's the better phone. But I am telling you that, you know, showing you here real world, it is a much better experience with the fingerprint reader and the facial recognition in my experience. Some of you guys might have both of these, and it might be faster on your Samsung for you. This is going to depend on registering the device and things like that. So just bear that in mind. But the OnePlus, again, does better at this. So, you know, it's going to come down to how you're using the device, how you have it set up, and things like that. Now, when it comes to performance, I've learned that and I'll go ahead and turn on Wi-Fi since I have it on over here. Make sure they're on the same network. because I have multiple networks. Yep, you know what I'm saying. So we'll get into the software in just a second, but performance on here, I noticed that the Samsung, it's not sluggish, but oh, what's going on with my, oh, somehow I'm logged out. Let's log back in. I don't know why I'm logged out on here, but let's log back in. Have no idea why I'm logged out on my OnePlus. Okay, here we go. So we'll close that out, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave some things open in the background. You know what? I'll close them out. I'll make sure they're all closed out. That way, it's, you know, I'm getting the most out of the device. So if you look here, no apps are open. And then we're going to go ahead and open Instagram. I don't know why I was logged out over here. So you can see the OnePlus is loading it faster. Now I've heard horror stories about the Exynos processor, but I don't think that it's a horror story so much. I just think that, oh, you have to love it, folks. I just think that when it comes to certain things, this is kind of where the processor on the Snapdragon side kind of edges it out a little bit. Again, let's open Twitter. Hopefully I'm not logged out on Twitter too. Okay, so you can see it popped up at the top, and you can pop up at the top there. So you can see that it's loaded faster on the OnePlus once again. And if you look at the Samsung, you can see, I'm not trying to do this like to make it look choppy or whatever. This is just how it is for some reason. I don't know why it's like that. Obviously, I know why. It's the processor inside, and that's got to be the biggest drawback. But again, I'm just saying, I don't care that it's like this right here, scrolling really fast. But I do care because I don't read my Twitter feed scrolling like this. I don't do that. I don't know anybody who does that. But that does show, you know, how this phone is processing things. Remember, I close everything out. I can go in and clear the cache as well to make sure everything is done. But this has been my experience overall with this device. And it reloaded everything as it should. Nonetheless, the performance on this device just isn't there, and it's just solely because of the processor. Now when you swipe down here, you do get a completely different style for the menus here. I do like Samsung's One UI. I also prefer stock Android. This also has the sidebar, but I turned it off because I wasn't using it, so I just turned it off. Samsung is always going to have more feature-packed things, but you know, it's going to come down to your personal preference and what you like. With Samsung, I can make this look like a stock Android device, but I wouldn't do it to this device. Now, I could put a launcher on here, and I'm pretty sure my Pixel launcher will make this run smoother, but in its native form, this is the way One UI runs with this Exynos processor. And keep in mind, this is a 5nm chip. It is not very strong at all, to be honest. So, with that being said, performance out of the way, software experience, I like them both, but I prefer stock Android, but I definitely always like Samsung's One UI. When it comes to battery, here's another thing that I think Samsung got right. Now, this does have a bigger battery. It has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, but, you know, the OnePlus isn't far behind, but the OnePlus has the faster charging. This caps off at 25 watt fast charging, and this has 33 watt fast charging. So it has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, but it also has the charger in the box. So with Samsung, you have to buy that charger. You have to buy that charger, and that's just not a good look. Taking away the charging bricks in phones is just stupid to me. So OnePlus gives you everything in the box. While it doesn't have the same 2-day battery as the A53, you can get over a full day in this. So just bear that in mind. So I wanted to try to talk about things in this video that might be important to people, like SD card. They both have it. They both have pretty good cameras. The OnePlus wins in the screen quality to me. The OnePlus wins in the price, obviously. It wins in performance. You know, it has the fast charger in the box. Samsung, though, has the stereo speakers, has a little bit better battery life. They're both running Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi AC, and they have 5.1 for Bluetooth. So there's a lot about these. You know, they're so similar but so different. So what do you think about these devices? Which one would you purchase? I know a lot of you guys would buy the OnePlus if it was not on T-Mobile. Personally, I think when it comes to the hardware, brush them off here. I think the OnePlus looks a heck of a lot better coming in with this nice camera ring setup and having the matte sides all the way around. It's matte altogether. Of these two, the OnePlus wins hands down. It is just the better of these two. And I think that anybody who's looking to buy this device, unfortunately, that's where the fail comes in because it's only available on T-Mobile USA right now. But maybe since I have an unlocked version, because I, pay full cost for it, it's unlocked for T-Mobile, maybe I'll post this one for sale or even give it away. Who knows? But as of now, I'm keeping this device. That's down the line. But the A53 is a great device, but for the price, it doesn't compete as a package for the Nord. And I compared these because this costs less, and this is supposed to be, in theory, the better device with a 6 nanometer versus a 5 nanometer chip. This one should lose technically in a lot of areas. But tell me what you thought about the cameras, the face unlock, the everything. Still didn't work there. Tell me what you thought about the overall experience that you saw here for the OnePlus Nord versus the Samsung Galaxy A53. Winner is the OnePlus Nord for me. Take care. Okay, I'll say it. All right, guys, take care.